Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour tout le monde. Ça va bien? I'm just kidding, guys. I don't speak French. Uh, but hello, everybody, and welcome to my first video about Dofus. But more specifically about Dofus Touch and what it is. I've been playing this game for over a year now, and I'm still having lots of fun with it. I still log in pretty consistently, check it out to play it, and I'm just having a blast still after a whole year. I used to play Dofus way back in the day. I'm talking like 2006, like way back. I played it for a few years, and I stopped playing it for a good, I want to say 10 years. When I originally was playing it, I was in college, got busy, life happened. And because of the pandemic and the lockdown and everybody staying home in 2020, I found my way back to it. I was bored one day, I just searched it up on Google to see what became of the game I used to play. And to my surprise, the game was still around. And it has gotten a huge revamp since I played it. And after looking around a bit more, I saw that there was a mobile version. I thought it was pretty cool that it was on mobile devices. I always thought, even back in the day, I always thought it would be super neat to have this game on your Nintendo DS, on your 3DS. So the fact that it was on mobile devices had me interested already. So that was the version I downloaded and stuck with, because having Dofus in your pocket at all times is pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie. This is pretty awesome. With that being said, one big goal for the channel would be to show how cool this game is on your phone or your tablet. Now, if you're completely new to the game, you never heard of Dofus, you don't know what it is, here's a quick rundown of the game. It's a turn-based tactical RPG / MMO. If you're an old school gamer like me, think Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, Fire Emblem, maybe Advance Wars. See, some recent examples would be XCOM, even that Mario and Rabbids game that came out on the Switch. The point being is that the game is played on a square grid, and you move your unit or your units on that grid. You attack, cast spells, defeat enemies within that grid. There are 15 classes to choose from on Dofus Touch, and you build them around the classical elements. Think water, fire, air, earth. In this case, chance, intelligence, agility, and strength respectively. Each character can be catered into different builds, different roles, creating a good amount of variety. You can have a character who's a damage dealer, a character who's a healer, support. That's just to name a few. I'll go into more detail about characters and character creation in another video. But the point of the game is you go around questing, killing monsters, doing dungeons, collecting drops, upgrading your gear, leveling, and just getting stronger. Good old RPG elements. So if you're into that stuff, this game is right for you. But ultimately, as far as the storyline goes, you want to collect these dragon eggs known as Dofus, which is the name of the game. And I'll do another video on that stuff as well. So that's pretty much a really short overview of the game itself. Okay, for those who are familiar with Dofus, Dofus Touch is completely different from the desktop version. It started its life as an offshoot from when the desktop version was at 2.14. So a lot of that legacy content will be familiar to those who used to play when the desktop was at 2.14, such as old dungeons, monster types, quest lines, even areas. But as you progress through the game, you will start to see the differences. And because of these differences, there is no interaction between the two versions. The game itself is built differently than the Flash-based desktop version. And because it has a different development team, because content cannot simply be ported over, the developers thought of making it unique from the desktop version while they were at it. The game is on mobile after all, so it has to adapt to that space. A quick example would be that the new dungeons made after the offshoot are only 2 rooms in the boss room, rather than the 4 room and the boss. I like to think of Touch as though there was like a timeline split when Touch was created at 2.14, and Touch just kind of just runs in that little alternative universe. I'll make a video that highlights the major differences between the two, but for now know that Dofus Touch is in desktop Dofus, just on your phone, because of crossplay. Even though that sounds pretty cool, it'd be nice, but it's not that. Which is kind of exciting if you think about it, because you can play both versions without feeling repetitive and have a fresh experience on both versions. Another good way to think about it would be, you know how there's Mario on the main console, like there's Mario on the Switch, and then there's Mario on the handheld. They're both Mario, but they kind of have different physics from each other. The developers have really been making an effort to really branch out Dofus Touch as its own unique thing and just make it have its own identity. We've gotten updates such as the content update called At the Edges of Time, where you go back in time, you get to see, it kind of breaks the fourth wall, you get to see Dofus Retro or Beta. This is awesome. You get to see Fregoth before it freezes. You get to interact with some of those NPCs and get a little bit more lore and story off of that. There's a super cool update called Ancestion Island, where it's kind of like an arcade gauntlet, where you try to climb this ladder as high as you can, and it's a series of mini dungeons, and the point is you're trying to get as high as you can with as many points as you can. And with that, you get rewards, which you could craft, like some of the high-end gear on Touch. Even the new Pandala Awaken content, despite being updated around the same time as the desktop version, it's very different from what I've seen. I haven't done the storyline on the desktop version, but the Dofus you get at the end, the Domakuru, it gives critical damage on Touch, as opposed to the plus summon on desktop. And even from some of the videos I've seen, the dungeon mechanics are completely different between the two versions. On the desktop version, the Firefox dungeon, that room, the boss room, revolves around candles and putting them out to be able to hit the boss. But on Touch, the boss room revolves around these hot air balloons and making them self-destruct right in the boss's face to make him vulnerable. And these little differences like that, what makes this whole thing so exciting. But in all, Touch has a lot to offer. The game is completely free to play. You can go check it out. Everything is accessible from the get-go. There really isn't anything locked behind paywalls. On desktop, there's the subscription, which without it, you really can't do anything beyond the initial beginning area, the free-to-play area. But here, you can equip a mount, you could equip a pet, you could run from one end of the world to another without interruption. The equivalent of the subscription on Touch is called the bonus pack, but that pretty much just grants you extra XP, extra drop rates, and extra profession XP. But in all, it just accelerates your progress pretty much, so that's what you're paying for. I hope this gives you guys a nice overview about Dofus Touch, and check it out if you're interested. Just get it on your phone. Everybody's got a phone these days, pretty much. Play it on the go, have fun, and until next time, this is Challenger EX. Au revoir.